Have you ever wondered why some older men barely speak, yet somehow younger women can't stop staring at them? It's not the gray hair. It's not the money. It's something deeper, something that radiates from within, a kind of calm dominance that most young men can't fake. You've seen it before, maybe in a cafe, maybe in a park. A younger woman laughing softly at something an older man said. He isn't loud. He isn't trying. He's simply present. While younger guys chase validation, the older man stands like a mountain, silent, grounded, unbothered. She feels it in that aura of security, that energy that says, I've seen storms before, and I don't flinch. This is not manipulation. It's psychological power, forged by time and emotional control, the essence of Stoicism. So today we're diving deep into the 7 flirting tricks older men use to attract younger women, backed by psychology and rooted in timeless Stoic principles. Pay attention, because these aren't pickup lines. They're subtle shifts in energy that make women chase emotional safety without even realizing it. 1. The power of emotional unreactivity. Have you ever noticed how calm men always seem to win attention without saying much? They're not trying to impress anyone. They don't rush. They don't flinch. That calmness is exactly what separates the older man from the boys. You see, when a younger woman interacts with most men, she's used to emotional volatility. Men who get excited too quickly, irritated too easily, or frustrated when things don't go their way. But when she meets an older man who stays emotionally neutral, it disarms her. He doesn't mirror her emotional storms. He absorbs them. He listens when she complains, smiles when she teases, and stays composed even when she tries to test him. That's not detachment, it's control. In psychological terms, this is called self-regulation, the ability to manage one's emotional state regardless of external triggers. Women subconsciously associate this with maturity and strength because it signals stability, something their emotions often crave but rarely find. Younger men tend to overreact. They text too fast, apologize too much, get jealous too soon. Older men, they've lived through rejection, success, heartbreak, and loss. They no longer panic over the little things. Their calmness isn't an act. It's a lifetime of lessons condensed into stillness. And here's the secret, and when a man remains unreactive, he becomes unpredictable in the most alluring way. The moment she realizes she can't manipulate his emotions, her curiosity spikes. She wants to know what lies behind that calm exterior. That's when attraction deepens, not through words, but through energy. His presence feels grounding, almost spiritual. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but your estimate of it." Older men embody that wisdom. They don't overestimate drama or beauty. They remain steady, and steadiness becomes magnetic. Because in a world full of men seeking validation, the one who stays silent, the one who smiles instead of reacts, becomes unforgettable. 2. The subtlety of eye contact and micro-expression. When an older man looks at a younger woman, he doesn't stare like a boy hungry for attention. His gaze is measured, deep but calm, confident yet kind. It's the kind of look that says, I see you, but I'm not captivated yet. That subtle restraint electrifies her. Most women are used to men whose eyes scream desperation, but an older man's eyes, they're like calm waters with unknown depth. She feels drawn in because she can't read him fully, and mystery is one of the most powerful forms of attraction. Psychologically, this is rooted in nonverbal dominance. Studies show that people who maintain steady, calm eye contact without overdoing it, project authority and self-assurance. They make others feel safe, respected, and intrigued. But here's the key, it's not about staring longer. It's about looking with intention. His micro-expressions, that faint smirk, the slow blink, the relaxed jaw, all signal that he's not seeking validation. He's evaluating, observing, and in complete control of himself. This kind of presence changes the energy between them. She starts adjusting her tone, fixing her hair, laughing softer, all without realizing why. It's because his gaze has made her self-aware. That's the power of masculine focus. It turns the spotlight without a single word. In cities like London or New York, you'll see this dynamic in upscale cafes or art galleries. The older man isn't competing with the noise. His silence makes him louder. His stillness feels like strength. And women pick up on that instantly, because when a man isn't emotionally or visually desperate, it sends one loud message, I'm complete with or without you. That emotional independence triggers deep feminine attraction. She doesn't just see confidence. She feels safety. The kind of safety that only comes from a man who has mastered his inner world. That's Stoicism in action, not the absence of emotion, but the control of it. The eyes, when trained by peace, can communicate everything: discipline, mystery, and power. And that silent communication seduces far more effectively than any line ever could. For controlled humor, the weapon of effortless charm. Here's a secret older men know well. The most effective humor doesn't entertain, it disarms. A young man tries too hard to be funny. He tells long stories, cracks loud jokes, and waits desperately for laughter. But an older man understands timing. He understands silence. He understands the art of saying just enough. Controlled humor is not about jokes, it's about emotional balance. When she says something teasing, he smirks and says, "Careful, that confidence might get you in trouble." It's subtle, confident, and calm. He's not trying to be liked. He's simply enjoying the moment. His tone is playful but measured. His body language relaxed. That control tells her something powerful. This man isn't seeking approval. Psychologically, this is called high-status humor. It's used by leaders, seasoned professionals, and emotionally mature people who know that laughter isn't about performance. It's about connection. His humor doesn't say, "Please like me." It says, "I'm comfortable enough with myself to playfully challenge you." And that shift in energy flips attraction instantly. Younger women, especially those surrounded by attention-seeking men, find this calm confidence irresistible, because controlled humor communicates dominance in a soft, elegant way. It tells her he's not easily impressed, and that makes her want to earn his attention. Another hidden layer here is stoic detachment. When an older man laughs, it's never at himself or in nervousness. His humor comes from perspective, from understanding life's absurdities. He's seen love, heartbreak, and the chaos of human behavior, and now he can smile at it without getting caught up emotionally. That detachment feels powerful, because women crave stability more than excitement. They want a man whose laughter feels like safety, not insecurity. Controlled humor creates that exact feeling, playful yet grounded, funny yet focused. And that's why older men don't just make women laugh. They make them feel calm while laughing. That combination? Absolutely lethal for attraction. Heck, the less is more communication rule. Here's something few men ever understand. In flirting, mystery outperforms effort. Older men have mastered the art of silence, not as a strategy, but as a natural extension of peace. They know that words are like currency. The more you spend, the less they're worth. When a younger woman texts him, he doesn't rush to reply within seconds. He doesn't send emojis or overcompensate with compliments. His communication is deliberate, clean, and minimal. Why? Because he understands one timeless principle. The man who speaks less holds more power. Psychology confirms this. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. The human brain remembers unfinished conversations more vividly than completed ones. So when he ends the chat before she does, when he keeps his responses short but thoughtful, her mind fills in the blanks. She replays his words, wonders what he meant, and starts to invest emotionally. And that's the real key, investment. Younger men chase, text excessively, and overshare. But the older man gives her space to imagine, to wonder, to crave his presence. Think about it. When he sends a brief, intriguing message like, "You have an interesting way of seeing things. Reminds me of someone I used to know." Her curiosity ignites. It's not what he said. It's what he didn't say that drives her wild. His silence creates suspense. His pauses create power. And what happens next is psychological. She starts filling in the story, attaching meaning, replaying every small interaction in her mind. That's how attraction grows beneath the surface. This is stoic communication, stripped of neediness, full of intention. He isn't cold or distant. He's selective. His words have weight because they're rare. He doesn't text to seek validation. He texts to express clarity. The paradox is that his lack of effort feels like effort to her, because she senses depth behind it. And when a man gives off that sense of quiet control, women instinctively lean closer. It's not about ignoring her, it's about showing that his attention is earned, not given freely. That's the less is more principle, and it's one of the oldest forms of silent seduction known to psychology. 5. The aura of purpose and direction. Confidence without purpose is just noise. That's why so many young men appear confident, but something about their energy feels hollow. They talk loudly, dream big, and move fast, but their actions lack weight. An older man, however, carries an aura of direction. You can feel it before he says a word. His posture, his tone, his rhythm, and everything says, I know who I am, and I know where I'm going. Younger women pick up on that energy instantly. See, women aren't just attracted to looks or charm. They're drawn to emotional leadership. A man with a mission doesn't need to convince anyone of his value. It radiates naturally. In psychology, this is tied to self-determination theory, which states that purpose gives people an intrinsic sense of fulfillment and confidence. That's what women feel in the presence of a purposeful man. Not arrogance, but certainty. When he talks about his goals, it's not about impressing her. It's about sharing vision. His energy says, I'm building something, and I don't need you to complete me, but you can join me if you're worthy. That sense of direction makes him stand out in a world of men who drift from one desire to another. And here's what's truly fascinating. Women subconsciously equate a man's direction with emotional safety, because a man who knows where he's going won't lose himself in her mood, swings, or validation traps. He's grounded, unshakable. His life is driven by something larger than romance, purpose, discipline, growth. Stoicism calls this living according to nature, meaning living in alignment with one's values and mission. An older man doesn't chase pleasure. He chases progress, and that makes his presence magnetic. When he walks into a room, he's not trying to be noticed. He simply moves with quiet certainty. People notice anyway. For younger women, this is refreshing, because most of their peers seek attention, not meaning. But this man? He has depth. He doesn't need to talk about his purpose, and it's visible in his behavior. And that's what truly seduces, not words, not status, but direction. It's the art of listening with presence. Here's one of the most misunderstood secrets in attraction. Listening is seductive, not fake listening, not waiting for your turn to speak, but true presence, only the kind that makes the other person feel seen, not just heard. Older men know how to do this effortlessly. When a younger woman speaks, he doesn't interrupt. He doesn't rush to correct or compete with her story. He simply listens deeply, patiently, as if every word matters. That kind of focus is intoxicating. Because most men don't listen and they perform. They nod, pretend, and wait for an opening to show off. But an older man, forged by experience, knows that attention is the highest form of respect. In modern psychology, this is known as active listening. But there's something deeper at play: energetic mirroring. When you give someone full attention, they subconsciously feel validated, important, and safe. Younger women, especially in today's distracted world, are starving for that kind of connection. And here's the beautiful paradox. By saying less and listening more, he becomes more attractive. Why? Because presence communicates emotional maturity. It signals to her that he doesn't need to dominate to feel in control. He can lead silently. When he finally does speak, his words land with power. He might say something like, "You've got that look, like you've learned to laugh at pain." Suddenly, she feels understood in ways younger men never make her feel. That's where emotional intimacy begins. He's not flirting through flattery. He's flirting through empathy. And empathy, when combined with masculine composure, creates a rare chemistry, trust and intrigue blended into one. Stoics believe that true wisdom comes from observation, not reaction. The same applies here. The older man observes more than he speaks, feels more than he shows. His silence creates space, and then in that space, connection grows. To her, it doesn't feel like a tactic. It feels like peace. And peace in today's chaotic dating world is the most seductive thing a man can offer. 7. The Stoic mystery lies in emotional depth wrapped in restraint. A younger man's emotions burn like fire, loud and consuming. An older man's emotions flow like water, calm, deep, and unending. He's lived through heartbreak and failure, but turned pain into wisdom. That wisdom shows in how he speaks, flirts, and carries himself. He doesn't overshare. He reveals fragments, hints of a story that make her curious. Psychologists call it ambiguity attraction. When mystery fuels desire, a man who shows emotion without losing control becomes magnetic. He doesn't say, "I've been hurt." He says, "I've learned." He doesn't say, "I'm afraid to love." He says, "I value peace more than chaos." That calm, grounded energy feels safe, and then safety is rare. Women don't crave his words. They crave what he represents, strength through serenity. Because the man who controls himself doesn't just control his emotions, he controls his world. That quiet confidence is the true Stoic mystery. Conclusion. The Stoic way of attraction isn't about games, it's about mastery. Real power lies in control, not chaos. Older men attract not because they chase, but because they don't need to. They offer what's rare today: peace, clarity, and presence. They flirt with silence, lead with purpose, and stay grounded no matter what. That calm energy pulls women in effortlessly. Because when a man rules his emotions, he rules his world. That's Stoicism in motion, and the essence of unforgettable attraction. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.